Welcome to our podcast series on diversity and inclusion, brought to you by the Association for Coaching, the world's leading independent professional body dedicated to promoting best practice and raising the standards of coaching worldwide. I'm Dr. Alexandra Morgan, Senior Lecturer and Coach Educator. In this series, we're privileged to be talking to a superb range of coaches and consultants whose work is making a significant contribution to advancing diversity and inclusion in society and in the coaching profession. We hope this series sparks curiosity and encourages change. Well, hello everybody. I'm Alex Morgan and welcome again to our podcast series on diversity and inclusion. And with me today, I have Charlie Stainforth. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Alex.
Thank you for joining us today. So, Charlie, your company, Circl, makes a direct contribution to equality, diversity and inclusion in organisations in the context of coaching. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, of course. And thanks again for having me on. So our company, Circl, is primarily an inclusive leadership development organization. And the central premise behind what we do is that diversity without inclusion is redundant. And organizations need to build inclusive environments before they can actually help to be more diverse. And actually, when people who are diverse join them, they stay there because they feel included. And the way we do that is through using coaching as an inclusive leadership skill, training managers in companies to use coaching, but not just with their colleagues. We actually train them alongside the very people that they're looking to include, who are diverse, underrepresented young people. So it's a really unique way of experiential learning around coaching and learning how to be inclusive on the job, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an amazing idea. So, well done to you and your team for making that happen. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works on a day-to-day basis? How do you set schemes like that up?
Yeah, so it's a good question. It's really actually quite simple. So we build a coaching skills for managers program, which is recognized by the Association for Coaching around the Leader as Coach framework. And we then find young people, underrepresented young people, through partnerships with colleges, widening participation at university, schools, but also social enterprises that work specifically with young people. And then we match up those professionals and those young people together in a cohort, and they essentially are treated exactly the same. So the young people are just other participants, other delegates, and the professionals are the same level. There's no hierarchy. They're both learning the same skills. They're both learning how to use coaching to be more inclusive, both coaching each other and getting coached on whatever their current challenges and goals are. So it's really, really unique, and it's genuinely impactful as well, because as we all know, when we're learning to coach, we also get coaching on our challenges and our goals. But for the young people, that could be they want to get a job, or they want to decide whether to go to university or to get an apprenticeship. And for the professionals, that could be about a promotion or about a challenge at work. So it's a really unique dynamic. And, actually seeing progress on those goals, both sides, really motivates the learners in a different way that they would have been experiencing before.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you've really painted a picture of something really quite powerful. So tell me, who, if I may be so bold, who actually pays for it? Is it the client that you work with, or how does all of that work?
Yeah, really good question. So it's paid for by the organizations, and they essentially fund the program for their teams. So you might have an example. We have McKinsey running cohorts where they have between 10 and 20 professionals in each cohort. They pay for that group of people, mostly junior or middle managers with a couple of senior sponsors. And then that payment also funds the certification for the young people as well, who are matched to them. So another 20 young people would be matched to those 20 professionals. But obviously the young people, they don't have to pay for the certification and for the training.
Fantastic. And you mentioned recruiting the young people from colleges, universities, places like that. So how do you physically go about that?
Well, it's not that difficult, to be honest. I mean, you just reach out to the organization. So you find the relevant contact within the university, widening participation. My background has been in working with young people from underrepresented backgrounds. So I already had a network when we set up Circl, but it's expanded quite quickly through word of mouth because obviously it's a really amazing opportunity for young people, sometimes before they've even left education, to get a management level qualification in coaching and learn inclusive leadership skills alongside some of the top managers in top companies across the world. So those young people, they then, once they get the message or the communication from their college or from the organization that works with them, they then apply. We interview them, and then we use a matching tool called Circl Match to match them with the professionals who are coming from the organization. So yeah, it's we've got a lot of young people out there who are really determined, really keen, and have signed up to the program. And we're gradually matching more and more professionals with them from lots of different companies.
That's fantastic. And as you're talking, Charlie, it's obvious as you talk that for you, coaching is an absolute prerequisite in terms of a leadership skill to make inclusion happen. So what's the link there? Can for those people that are maybe less experienced in coaching, can you help them make the link between coaching and inclusion?
Yeah, it's a really good point. So the central philosophy is that an old school style of leadership would have been command and control, which is telling people what to do. I think you should do this because I've done it before, and can you get it done for me by Friday? Whereas a more inclusive style of leadership is empowering people to come up with their own solutions and asking them, what do you think you should do? How do you think you could go about it? And that is the central premise of coaching, using really powerful questions, listening attentively, making observations. If there is advice or data that you feel, you're asking permission to share that rather than just jumping in and giving advice and telling people what you think. And it's proven. There's a lot of research that shows that teams are more autonomous, more efficient, more motivated because they feel that they've been included through this coach approach.
The other thing that occurred to me as you were talking is that what you're significantly contributing to is the democratization of coaching, making coaching more available. So not just within organizations at the top level with people that can afford expensive coaches, but you're making coaching available to a much wider audience. So is that just a happy coincidence, or is that your original or one of your original drivers behind this idea?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of crazy that coaching as a skill or as a something that people get is reserved quite often for people later in their careers. Whereas I think that last time I did a podcast with you guys, I was talking about, imagine what it would be like if people understood those skills before they even start their careers. Think about all the challenges that come up, misconceptions of leadership and how to get ahead. Whereas actually what people are saying is, being empathetic, being open, being a good listener, those are more powerful than being assertive, dominating, trying to force your agenda. So yeah, it's more about the skills, but then also on the flip side, as you say, democratizing coaching. It's ironic again that coaching is called, or has been called, executive coaching, as you say, reserved for those at the top of organizations, when in fact, quite often people who need the coach approach or coaching the most are the ones who need to be empowered early on in their careers or even before they start them. And so the Circl approach is, we're not training people to be fully accredited coaches, but we're giving them the foundational skills and the mindset that coaching is the way forward. And then that is going to significantly help the young people that they work with to be empowered and realize that they can take control of their future. They do have the answers in front of them. They can do great thinking rather than just being told what to do the whole time. And then on the other side, it really builds coaching cultures within organizations. So a lot of our clients are really forward-thinking, big organizations, and like Google and Facebook and those kind of high-growth tech companies. But also, I already mentioned McKinsey, but we've worked with Magic Circle law firms, and they're seeing that they want to start off building coaching culture much earlier on in an employee's life cycle, so that they become more autonomous and take control. But that's going to be achieved through receiving coaching and also knowing how to coach. And that's definitely what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, lucky young people, because I was just reflecting there thinking if I had had coaching skills when I started out on my career, I'm thinking of, many moments that could have been better for me if I'd had those coaching skills. But what I was reflecting on in particular was if I had been able to coach upwards, coach my manager and take a coaching response to how managers were handling me, when I was younger. And like you say, try and break loose from that kind of command and control type atmosphere. And I think if I'd had coaching skills, I would have been able to push back actually against that, but in an appropriate coaching style way. So yeah, is that something that your young people notice, or something that you talk about coaching upwards?
So yeah, I mean, as I sort of said, the way the program works is that the young people, even though they're from outside the organization, when they come into the Circl cohort with the company and with the group of professionals, they are treated as 100% equals, and that's really important. And so they actually coach the professionals on the professionals' goals and challenges just as much as the other way around. So they are coaching upwards. In fact, we actually often ask the professionals to be the coachee first, because that demonstrates one of the core premises of inclusive leadership, which is vulnerability. Obviously through a proper contracting process, they set the framework for the conversation, and then you might have an 18-year-old saying, okay, so what do you want to talk about? And you might have a CEO of an organization or a really senior partner in a big company saying, well, actually, I've got a big challenge with this project and this team. The young person, before learning about coaching, would have been like, well, how can I ever help someone in that position to think about this challenge? I've never managed a team. I don't have a 20, 30-year career. But actually, through using coaching skills and asking great questions, being genuinely curious, which, as you can imagine, young people innately are, they then see that just by being there, being that presence and being that mirror to that person, they can enable that in thinking environment and help that person to really get to a solution. And just imagine what that does for a young person from an underrepresented background's confidence. They suddenly go, wow, actually, I don't need to know everything. I just need to know how to interact with people. And so the program that we run, the Circl Leadership Program, its tagline is be a leader, build a leader. Because our philosophy is that leaders shouldn't build followers, they should build other leaders. And coaching up, although I wouldn't call it coaching up, because we talk about them being equals. Coaching across is the way that we frame it. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, total sense. Yeah, thank you. And what kind of results have the organisations seen that work with you?
I mean, the results have been pretty amazing, to be honest, in terms of the professionals reporting back how they feel about how confident they feel about engaging with diverse young talent, which is essentially the process of being inclusive. But the big thing, I think, is as well is that we survey line managers and direct reports of these companies, of the participants from these companies, and they notice a dramatic improvement in their communication, their willingness to listen, the way they lead meetings, the way they run one-to-ones. So you can kind of imagine how that plays out in terms of job satisfaction, retention, and productivity.
Fantastic. And do you get the sense that, because they're coaching underrepresented communities, and I'm wondering whether there is a potential positive effect on the wider organisation in terms of their approach to diversity and inclusion, hidden soft effects kind of thing, whether actually working with underrepresented communities actually opens their eyes to the capabilities of these young folk, and whether then they might be more inclined to recruit from that pool of people, for example. Have you heard any stories like that, or got any feeling around that?
Very much so. And in fact, I wouldn't say it's a hidden or secret or kind of secondary agenda. It's very much the forefront of the whole, the Circl experience is that in order to learn a skill like coaching, you need to be put out of your comfort zone, especially when you're learning to be more inclusive. And by definition, you need to include someone that you would normally see as other. So whether that's someone from an underrepresented background or just because of their age, there's different perspectives. But secondly, the reason, in my opinion, why organizations are not more diverse is because there aren't opportunities for professionals to necessarily interact with people from other communities in a sustained basis where they can actually build trust and build rapport. There are obviously some mentoring programs and things that connect young people and professionals, but very little that puts them at an equal footing where the professional shares just as much as the young person. They're both working towards development, and that young person is helping that professional just as much as the other way around. And that builds a completely new type of relationship based on trust, based on inclusion. And suddenly it opens up an entire new network for these companies and these professionals of young people that they would never otherwise have met. And guess what? There are a lot of incredible, very skilled, very determined young people in those communities that may not have had the confidence or the realization or just the network to get jobs or get into those kind of industries, which is why a big part of the Circl program is the alumni network, where we meet quarterly and have a biannual big face-to-face event where the professionals and the young people from all of our programs can come together and do further coaching trios, but also just meet each other. And they've already got that connection through a shared mutual experience of going through the Circl program. And these young people already have the confidence developed from the program. And they know that the professional they're speaking to has also built inclusive skills because they've already been matched with an underrepresented young person. So suddenly you're blowing open what previously has been quite a closed network. And increasingly, we're seeing, this is not the purpose of the Circl program as of yet. It's all about the learning and the training, but we're seeing more companies actually hiring from our pool of young people. And quite often it's the people that they've worked with directly over the program, which is normally about 3 months, but also across the pool of other young leaders, other future leaders from the program who may have been on different courses with other companies.
Fantastic. And I'm beginning to see now why you're called Circl, because it is literally circular, isn't it, in the best possible way, virtuous circle. Is that why you called yourself Circl?
Yeah, I try and avoid saying full circle or virtual circle all the time. People often attribute it there, but that's the point exactly.
Yeah. So what's the future for Circl, Charlie? Where do you want to take this?
So when we set Circl up, it was with the ambition to be able to scale, and we genuinely think that the approach that we're taking, where we provide not just ethical or moral grounds for doing this, but actual genuine economic and business case grounds to organizations that they should be doing this every year with hundreds, thousands of people, means that there's no reason in our eyes that every young person that is underrepresented globally and every professional looking to build their inclusive leadership skills, and every company that has that forward-thinking agenda shouldn't be doing this. And already we work in 15 different companies, 15 different countries across the world with active participants and young people also as well from across the world. And that's only in sort of 2.5 years. So we're scaling quite quickly now, but we really want to be able to get this at a significant level globally.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I wish you well with that. So how do people get involved, Charlie? How would people get involved with Circl, in terms of companies that want to be involved, individuals that want to be involved, maybe coaches that want to be involved?
Yeah, I mean, get in touch. You can get in touch with me directly. Just Charlie at Circl without the E .org. And please reach out. As I said, we've got a big pool of young, determined future leaders, we call them, who have gone on to do our application process and really want to get the opportunity. And we've got growing numbers of businesses and professionals taking part, but we always will need more. And if we're to achieve our mission and reach kind of global scale, we'll need to continue growing that pool of businesses. So if you or work for an organization that you think this would benefit, please get in touch. Or if you as an individual are interested in finding out more, please get in touch.
Yeah, it's fantastic because, as you probably know, I work for a university. So, I was wondering what doors, I could open at the university to help you access young folk and help young people access you. So what would somebody like me do to try and open those doors for you?
Yeah, again, I would put you in touch with our Future Leader Partnerships team. And Radwa, who runs that team, would essentially take you through what's necessary. But it's pretty simple. We just get universities, normally through widening participation or first-gen societies, so first generation to get into university, to put out some comms on their social media channels or email to their population of young people. And then, as you can imagine, we get a lot of young people applying. So I can definitely connect you up, and I'd encourage anyone else who has those connections as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Charlie. I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, but I'm wondering if there's anything I haven't asked you, anything that you would like us to know about Circl before we close.
I think the big thing for us to kind of highlight is to try and change the mindset around working with underrepresented young people as a one-way street. And by that, I mean, traditionally, organizations, businesses, for example, have said, we're going to support some underrepresented young people. And it's sort of, if I'm honest, it's quite hierarchical and patronizing. It's sort of, okay, we're going to help some young people. Whereas what we're saying, the whole point of Circl is that the people that need helping are these businesses. And these underrepresented young people are the future leaders. And they are the ones who will be helping these professionals, literally by coaching them, but also opening their eyes to a whole new world of a majority of young people who are brilliant, but are currently underrepresented in leadership. And if organizations want to become more inclusive, they've got to change their mindset around, it's a supporting the underrepresented young people versus we need underrepresented young people to help us. And that's, I think, the really important aspect.
Yeah, it's a total mind shift in a really exciting way. And I'm imagining not just the coaching conversations and the coaching practices, but lots of side conversations that probably happen, between the generations and between the communities, so that they can seriously learn from each other.
Yeah, a huge number. And every single kind of graduation where the future leaders and the professionals do a little speech about each other and what they've learned, nice. They're always sort of saying, I can't believe that I've built such a strong connection with someone through this framework. Because as we know, when you build that psychological safety through coaching, you can connect with someone very quickly. And they say, I would never have met this person otherwise. And I feel, it's everyone should do this. It will change their perception and in many cases change people's lives, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So feel very lucky to be involved.
Fantastic. Well, it's been a total privilege to talk to you. I wish you well. I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. And if you could just remind listeners on where to contact you, please, Charlie.
Yeah, so it's charlie@circl.org, and that's Circl spelt without the E on the end.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Charlie, and
Thanks,
we'll see you again soon, I hope. Bye.
Cheers.
So thank you for listening to another podcast by the Association for Coaching. I've been Alex Morgan. Our purpose is to inspire and champion coaching excellence to advance the coaching profession and make a sustainable difference to individuals, organisations and in turn society. If you'd like to find out more, please follow us on LinkedIn and explore our webpage at theassociationforcoaching.com. There you can keep up to date with our latest episodes and conversations, as well as our digital learning calendar.